Hello and welcome to the Convention Centre here in Dublin for the Alltech Craft Beer and Food Festival. As you can tell, I've kind of lost my voice, but fortunately we're going to get some help on that front in a liquid form, and more importantly we're going to let the brewers tell you about their beers, what's going to be shaping basically beer drinking in Ireland and really across Europe over the next year to come. We're going to meet some great brewers. Let's go inside, try out what they're doing, and possibly enjoy one or two beverages of an alcoholic nature. A few months ago, you guys might recall I was in Spain drinking a bit of beer in Barcelona, and someone who I met at this festival last year ran into me when she was watching one of our latest beers. This is Teresa from Espiga. Teresa, you're here at the Alltech Festival again, so what have you guys got to show me?
Well, we want here to show our nice beer from Spain, and also, well, we want to show the black IPA, that's great, and also the blonde ale. And well, and the others, but I think these two both are great.
And obviously, you guys, the Catalan beer scene's really coming along, and you guys are very much at the centre of it. Like, you know, you see scenes like Ireland, Britain, like, does it kind of inspire you guys in Catalonia?
Well, yes, in Catalonia, they are from the whole Spain is the part where more brewers are and more quality. So, well, because the craft beer revolution in Spain started in Barcelona. So I think it's coming a very big revolution because there are a lot of pubs that are opening from craft beer, and each day there is coming a new beer, a new pub, and so now we are in the exact moment of the craft beer.
Well, we've got 4 of our beers on. We got Punk, classic first beer we brewed. Dead Pony, really delicious California Pale Ale. Jackhammer, rip your face off, ridiculously hoppy West Coast IPA style. And then this is one of a beer, Alice Porter, that we just rebrewed. Brewed in 2010, and it's just coming back. It's going to be a really nice, slightly sweet, but then still massively hoppy porter.
And I suppose with the porter, like you haven't had it out for a while, so why now, I suppose?
Well, we have Brixton Porter, which is our headliner porter. We had that for a few years. We started to do, like, we took that out of the headline range. We decided we wanted to do a beer that's a bit more brewdog, a bit more evasive, a bit more in your face. Brixton Porter was seen as a bit too dry. So this is more in the brewdog style.
Really locked in their copyright.
Yeah, so
there's a good bit of hops in this here. What's the ABV of this here, Scott?
7.8%.
Yeah, you can smell the hops as well with that, like.
So it's a rye IPA.
And you're getting a rye off it as well. Like, you know, it's like, I suppose the difference between, you know, I always go up in a rye, I think of Kinnagar because Kinnagar, one, is unfair advantage they use royally over everybody else. That is, the water Donegal is bloody ridiculous to do it. You know, it's like, but this is still an extraordinary good beer. It's like, it's kind of like a smooth bitterness, which is very odd combination for you.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like you rely on sort of the hop oils from like the excessive sort of late hop additions to sort of almost sort of coat the palate. Without that hop oil, there would be sort of a bitterness there that would be sort of too sharp. But I mean, there's a bit of body to be able to sort of carry the bitterness as well.
Yeah.
Again, but without that body, the bitterness would sort of you'd be rubbing the tongue.
Yeah, well, so 8 Degrees, who are the reigning, of course, pure champions, and also probably the reigning most creative brewery in Ireland champion, based on what I've been talking to lately. So, Scott, launch it.
Obviously, use liquid yeast. We're blessed to use liquid yeast.
Okay, so just people don't know the difference between liquid yeast and the who playing in the background and regular rye.
The majority of brewers use dry yeast. Liquid yeast just gives so much more essence, more nose on it, and we find the flavour profile is much more good. Yes, much deeper as a result of it not being dry.
Like when I think of, you know, when I think fresher than I was thinking Kinnagar and pretty much going else, that's because the water they have in Donegal is suited. They're cheap, they got good water.
Which is always the start. We're very, very, I think that is the thing is fresh.
Like that's the work you're getting out of that. Wow, like that's before any time of year, but spring, summer,
spring and summer.
Yeah. But even like, you know, but you can bring it because in the winter wouldn't be annoying, but spring, summer on in that period, like absolutely perfect. So what's this come in and do? I think lighting up as well again here now.
It's just put on the point.
Really? No, I would not have got this kind of flavor now. Like that's again, it's a, you know, sessionable still though. That, like, you know,
I don't know what an absolutely finish we expect it to finish around.
but it's very, very refreshing. So we're tearing through these.
Right. So next, we're going to go big and heavy with a double IPA.
Okay, this is going to be scary.
11 hops.
Because 10 is never enough.
And again, these are 4 high first one.
Yeah, ignore the foam here, guys.
I'm going to waft it just so you get the aroma from here.
Okay, yeah, I got that.
It's warm.
Yeah, it's like... oh yeah, there's a lovely bit of balance in the flavour there. Very, like it's very fresh, but it's got bitterness as well coming through. Like, and this is a beer you can drink very summery despite being very strong. Absolutely. What are we taking it out?
You can see it.
Age in the butt. So
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's again a case of like the first year I'm talking about there. Your
1, 2.
It smells much stronger than it tastes. It's very interesting.
It's just peaches.
And I also, as you guys have known from the intro, I got a cold. This is doing a brilliant job with the cold. Oh yeah.
So we're very happy with how this has turned out.
And our last one, Alan, I think, is
A northern brown ale.
a northern. Okay, I'm not used to brown ale tomorrow. I think Mel's and Longford done a brown ale. You guys think it's the only thing you want to see even experimenting with it tomorrow?
We did some with these. Couldn't get it right. So we've done 2 more. One of them was actually on the headline for Jeff.
There's so much coffee in that nose. I mean, like, you know, it's like I went into Coffee Angel and I just poured it into a beer.
Again, what we tried to do here is we focused on yeast. So we've got yeast from the UK, Northern Brewery, very well known Northern Brewery that we use.
What possible well-known Northern Brewery could that be?
Which we've used, and we think the results are pretty good.
Okay, and like brown ales as well, they're very challenging because you got to keep both the freshness and the flavour profile going at the same time.
And also keep bitterness down and not actually make it acidic.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm gonna go there because I'm attend that one. Like again, this is the very first one tapper very early. But this stuff will pour normally come an hour from now. Okay, it's not happy at all. You might have a bit of bitterness.
No, almost raw at the start. You get that bitterness coming through. Just
But
that
it's a fresh kick back afterwards. Like, you know, so again, brown ale is very challenging and very, like, you know, it's never going to be a mass market beer brown in Ireland, but it's one where there will always be a market for it.
About a stout that I put into this cask 10 months ago. We've aged it. We've had a bespoke cask engine built into this unit. So you're going to taste unfiltered, uncarbonated, whiskey aged. They're 21-year-old single malt Bushmills casks as well. So,
What time does that?
so we put a standard stout in rather than go big Russian Imperial. We put a standard stout in of 4.5. Left it
Whiskey barrel cask.
21-year-old single malt. Left it for 10 months. And I've decided rather than put it in the keg and carbonate it, we let people taste it as purest.
And just explain what a cask can do in terms of ABV alone in a beer. Alltech, who of course hosting this, there can be pale ale, there can be bourbon barrel ale. The actual product itself is the same. It's literally where it's stored. Like they store in whiskey barrel casks, it goes up 3%, basically half its alcohol volume again. So like that's a huge difference. And also the flavor profile of both beers, despite being originally the same, completely different. So let's give this a go. So yeah, you get that whiskey. It's very much a more Irish whiskey to it now than bourbon. Like yeah. It's a very, very clear taste, which is very unusual. I don't sound that at all. I expected a bit more, you know, scary things basically. Like, they've got a bit of whiskey in there, but it's almost like whiskey with water in many respects.
It's so what it should say. It should whiskey start with stout taste finish.
Oh yeah, you get the bitterness
reason
that out.
you're not getting more. Majority of people who do this stuff put in Russian Imperial stouts and put in much higher ABV beers. We put in a 4.5 to see what it works. It's about 6.6. So we got 2.1% out of it. So you
The barrel alone.
You get loads of vanilla, you get loads of oat flavour. It goes around it.
Yeah, you get the oak actually in the back end.
And it's in the back here, it's just a beautiful one.
And this is a very dangerous beer to be having at this hour of the afternoon. It's about 2 o'clock, guys. So let's see how it keeps going. So let's go with the nose here. There's a lot of oats in this actually. So you're gonna get the oats. And that's where breakfast is really coming in. So let's see what's there. Which, you know, will there be sausages and bacon? Who knows? There's a lot of chocolate in this actually, isn't there? An awful lot of chocolate. It's a double chocolate. Yeah. So like Mark asked me on this question here, the world watching.
Do you eat chocolate for breakfast?
It depends what you are. Chocolate spreads? I don't know.
But
Personally, no.
Personally, no, of course. Me, coffee. Yeah, and there is coffeeness as well, but like, what's scaring me here with this beer, in a good way, is you told me to not ABV. I'm giving this and going 6, maybe 7.
It's very little alcohol, but it's pretty deceptive.
It's very deceptive beer. I'd almost call it Danish. I think Danish, I'm thinking Toa, I'm thinking Koisbo, who are notorious for their beers which taste about 3 or 4% below their actual level. What are founders out here?
Well, we're trying to fool you a little bit, maybe, but you know, sometimes it's nice to head to the pan.
Don't eat this for breakfast. Be responsible. Blackstone Sale, who you obviously read about the business of the weekend, because all of my YouTube video viewers read the business post. We talked about Rockies of the weekend in the paper, but obviously you got 2 crazy ones of Model T here.
Yeah, we've got the standard Model T, which is a 6.5% stout, and it's going down very well. And then we did rum, barrel aged, whiskey.
Now,
So they've got slightly different finishes in there.
like Model T itself is great, but I gotta ask you, let's try the rum and the whiskey here. Like, whiskey's a challenge. Rum is a challenge, I guess, kind of a magic for you guys.
How do you mean challenge?
Well, keeping the flavour of Model T while getting the rum inside as well.
I don't know, we just put it together and hope for the best, you know? So,
I like the honesty, I gotta say. Well, let's give it a taste here. Okay, so let's go to the nose first.
let me have one too.
It
Well,
does
together.
genuinely smell like a mixture of rum and stout. Like, good starting point here. Really from the Model T original flavour there, but a little bit of sweetness on the side as well, as I described.
Yeah, I think it's got a slight spicy peppery flavour.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it's like gunpowder, spicy going on. It's
Don't eat gunpowder. Don't eat
like
gunpowder.
reminiscent of kind of pirate ships.
Oh yeah, well no, when I think rum, I'm thinking pirates. Anyway,
Yeah.
like you know, a certain captain's own name. So this is excellent, obviously. Like for you guys, where did the idea to do a rum beer company, a rum barrel beer company?
Well, I've always been a massive fan of barrel aged beers, and to do a beer 3 ways is always kind of an interesting aspect.
Yeah, 2 ways is good. Like 3 ways is kind of going, it's a bit of crack here. Okay, so now we're going a bit more conventional here. It's a bit whiskey based, and then we're going to talk briefly about, and definitely not try, one other experiment Sam here had in Kinsale.
Give you a fresh one.
I think there's a little bit of the foamy side. That's normal enough. It's, again, with these videos, it's part of this video, guys. Remember, we started the festival at this point. Okay.
There you go.
So this is the whiskey-based version of Model T, and like Model T is given rave reviews. Dior, who obviously like the sale anyway, for various reasons, been raving about it. So let's go. Model T with a bit of whiskey in it. Much clearer actually in the nose than I expected.
There's a lot of chocolate.
Exactly. Like, yeah, it's much more like what I love here though is you're feeling the Model T flavor.
Yeah, it's not overpowering. Plus, kind of to do with next time as well.
Finally, and I'm too safe to try this now. I'm going to ask you about this. So explain to us all here what Curious Still you guys is.
Yeah, so this is a collaboration with Blackwood and Distillery. So we did a batch of beer and we split it into half we made into a double IPA and half was got distilled into a bottle. So you've got a set of beer and it's been turned into a spirit. So it's a really
Where did you come up with that idea from? Sorry, during your beer talk.
well, I mean, something like whiskey, the type of beer you know, so it's malted barley, it's fermented. So I mean, it's not a completely original idea either. In the States they do these things they call white dogs, which are basically the same thing. So it's craft beer, poppy craft beer sometimes, there's beers, you know, Race 5.
Yeah.
They did one a few years ago, into whiskey or into white spirits and gin. So the guys from Blackwood got in touch and said, yeah, definitely project.
So the two ales, John, just describe the differences and the similarities first, though, if you could.
I suppose they're, to a certain extent, they're one and the same beer, in that we produce this Kentucky ale, which is a blend of an Irish red ale and an English pale ale. And we take this beer, which is at 6%, and we put it into bourbon barrels. And obviously Kentucky is the home of bourbon production. We put the beer in for 6 weeks. It's in at 6%, comes out at 8.2%. And you get a much stronger bourbon flavour straight from the beer. It is, I suppose, the short version of the story is when they make bourbon, they have to use a new barrel every time. When they put the bourbon into the barrel, 4 to 5 gallons of that bourbon soaked up into that timber. Our brewery is in the middle of all the distilleries, so within an hour and a half from when it's emptied of bourbon after 4 or 5 years, we're putting our beer into it. That's very much a wet barrel. That's why you get such a huge hit of bourbon flavour in it, and the big increase in the alcohol too.
Okay, so we're trying to pass balls here from the Bourbon. A lot of sips in the nose here, a bit of hop as well. That's really, really fresh. Nice and flavors in the aftertaste. Really good as well. How much time is it from here?
Candles are summer beer, so from May to
The only legit Irish bitter from my output. Okay, so we're trying to Kiwi Pale Ale here from the guys at Rascals. Very, very fruity on the nose, putting it mildly. Okay, we're from the White IPA here from Redwell, one of the hottest stars here really at the Alltech Beer Festival. In the nose, a lot of weakness, gotta say. Good bit, but an awful lot more hops. An awful lot more hops. A little bit bitter, but really, really clear in the finish. Something you're going for. Yeah, absolutely.
Ireland won her one and only victory over a foreign country. And so we're delighted that that foreign country has come back and won the gold medal. And the winners of the overall prize, these guys did a fantastic job. Who do you think the winner is? The winner is... They are Danish friends.
Closebow retains after winning last year for their Closebow 4. Closebow 11 wins in 2015.
Last 2 years.
Out of 3 years. I think it's number 11. It's extremely delicious.
Sherry-based Imperial Stout. Incredible beer.
Like it's so different to everything else I taste.
Let's hear now from Closebow at their award-winning Sherry-based Imperial Stout. Okay, so back-to-back champions of the Alltech Beer Festival. Dublin Beer come for the second straight time. Closebow, how did you do it?
Just amazing, it's so fantastic. We just make the best we can. It's enough.
Last year's Closebow 4, this year's Closebow 11. Tell us about Closebow 11.
Closebow 11 is a new variety of the last year's winner, Closebow 4. The 11 here we have a cherry mature, and it gives a little bit of a sweetness. And the judges obviously like that.
It's a show. Up here with beer. Go to the cider. Don Kelly's cider here at the Alltech Festival. Good to go. So I'm being very open. I'm not a regular cider drinker. Smell the cider. A little bit of those sweets you have your kid going on here. There's hair was going on. It's not yours like Dylan level here, I'm saying here. Very, very, very clear, very fresh.
There's been an enormous selection, and one of my
absolute favourites has been the La Sinteta Amber Ale by Gambusi in Tarragona. I'm a big fan of amber ales. I like that sort of American style hopping thing, and also a little bit of sweetness. So La Sinteta, it has it's properly amber. It's a nice bright red colour. It's not too sweet, so the hops are allowed to shine through. It's not too cakey. There's a little bit of white pepper in it, a certain amount of oily resinness from the hops. So it's balanced, but in a very unusual way for an amber ale.
Deceptive from Gambusi, Tarragona, Spain, here at Alltech in Dublin. Let's get this go. A lot of hops in the nose, guys. You can tell it's a hoppy beer straight away. Not as bitter as you think. You can feel the hops, but it's not very bitter, but it's flat. Not very bitter, but still very hoppy. It's very fresh. So guys, Tarragona, Spain, like the Spanish beer craft thing is a little behind Ireland, but you see guys like Gambusi here, you see SB, what they're doing, it's really amazing. Be sure to keep an eye on Spain, it's an amazing area for craft right now. So we're trying to brew this, it's a 4.3% pale ale, and it's got a bit of raspberries in it. Let's see how it actually reflects in the actual flavour. That's plenty too, I gotta see some before I get home. And you really get that in the nose.
It's a similar kind of grain bill to our
very sessionable taste, I'd say, even though it's really beer.
It doesn't have that sour raspberry thing.
It's a mild sweetness, I call it. Yeah, you know, a bit of bitterness in the back end, but like definitely one you can have quite a few on. Do you think it's summer or spring with this?
We did that one in like winter. It's a bit crazy.
For a light fruity beer, it's a bit different.
We're not trying to get into summer.
Like everything in July, August, festival season, it'll be amazing.
I've drank a lot of stuff I really liked. Some from unexpected sources that you maybe didn't think that the capability was there. Like particularly Rye River had a Berliner Weiss and a whiskey barrel-aged stout, which was really interesting. Pulled through a hand pump attached to the barrel. Tried a really interesting Hungarian beer there, an amber ale with sour cherry. Some absolutely great saisons as well. But I think my favourite of the festival has been the Londoner Weiss by Beavertown. Their Berliner Weiss collaboration with Dogfish Head and Juniper and other gin botanicals. It was just exceptionally tart, very, very bitter, but really enjoyable, but really livened up the palate.
This is Bjorn number 2, the guys from Bjorn, obviously the Craft Beer Association. They did some trouble. Their previous one was some of the guys in Boxing and Sale, so it wasn't quite as big a journey for them this time. The trouble, of course, being a bit nearer the pale, it's fair to say. Like, you know. Okay, so you get a lot of hops in the flavour here. A bit of cherry as well, like in the aroma. And it's a bit of sort of a little bit double IPA strength, but still got that very much that red flavour to it, like the imperial red style. Like
it's a Hungarian microbrewery. We grounded our brewery 2 years ago. In this year, in 1st April, we are 2 years old. We brew in Hungary ale beers and a few lager beers. My favorite favorite one lager beers, and I brew now double box and the other ones. Here, what we have, it's from the single hop pale ale to the triple IPA. We are interested on all of beers, and we brew now 30 type of beers in these 2 years. So here in this beer are seasonal beers and one-time brewed and limited editions. We like the hops very and we make really hoppy beers. So it's the session IPA, the American IPA, and the brown ales.
So we're going to try Bazooka here from a brewery so again just do it boosted, right? Yeah. So my Hungarian isn't too bad, guys. I just show, even though I'm pressed, I am paying. So rye smoked beer. Now regulars on Pint of View know I'm a big fan of smoked beer, Bamberg style, always good. This is from Hungary.
It's, we can say it's a single hop smoked beer.
And you can smell the smoked beer style straight away. I'm thinking like excellent glitter route beer immediately. Oh yeah, that lovely smoke kind of bacon aftertaste with a bit of oak on the way down.
Yeah, it's a drinkable smoked cheese and smoked beer.
Well, as a sommelier once said to me, smoked beer actually tastes like the first smoked food you ever had. So if it's smoked salmon or if it's smoked bacon or whatever, that's what you're going to think a smoked beer is like. Great stuff, the Hungarian guys here. Super beer. We're going to Beavertown's beer now. We've featured briefly in Pint of View before, never gone full on. So now we're going to have a go, just give it a go in person. I'm hoping it's not too much of a pour because I have to actually review this at some point. Thank you very much. Not too much of a nose, a little bit of coffee coming out, very mild aroma though. And yeah, that's Hector shouting in the background, just trying to ruin my video. So a little bit of coffee right in the flavour, tiniest bit of chocolate going on. I call it very sort of smooth bitterness. It goes down very, very easy. And you know, well, here's some dumb lace beer, so I can just run out of camera shot. You know, it's like, but no, very easy to go down beer. Very, very interesting. The English part is it's a reasonable percentage for beer that goes down easy. So be very careful with this beer. Is the one thing I would say. Yeah, because of the beautiful lighting here, guys, we can't actually see the tap here, but the shiny, greeny, orange one, that's O'Hara Saison. So tell them the Saison, guys.
Basically, it's our newest product, just released in the last week. It's a Belgian-style golden ale, very sessionable, 4.4%, a little bit of spice, a little bit of mango, honey, very easy drinking, and just a new style of beer that's not very common about it.
Okay, this O'Hara Saison we're trying here, what's the percentage? 4.4%. A little flower on the nose.
Not a lot of flavors, but just a lot of body, but not too much.
Yeah, you can taste what's going on in the mouth. You know, a bit of citrus, a bit of flavor, a bit of flower. There's also a little bitterness going on. Very, very smooth. It's a very sessionable beer.
Should be a little bit of clove as well, a little bit of spices.
Well, I got a cold here, so forgive me for that one, guys.
Basically here we have two kind of beers, an Emperor with some sour cherry. And with that beer we try to have the sourness of the fruit and combine it with the malty, biscuity body of the Emperor. And that's called Musak Wagner, which means what's up, Mr. Wagner. And the other beer is a Saison beer, the Belgian style beer. The name is Monkey Funky Yeah. For that beer we use coriander, black pepper, freshly grained orange peels, and some interesting hops as well. It's a refreshing, not too heavy, drinkable beer.
So we're here in Hara Funky, yeah. Better beer. The Hungarian beer industry depends on this. Okay, before I drink this, I know these videos guys see a lot of big heads. There's a reason they gotta pour in huge quantities. So every now and again it's something from a big head. Trust me, this beer is poured right, and it's not a crazy festival. Perfect head on it. So get the coriander for the aroma immediately. Get that pepper flavor. Yeah, absolutely. So for you guys, there's a lot of flavors going on this beer. It's very large. That's as good an answer as you're going to ever get, guys.
Where do we even start? It's there's been some fantastic beers from the whole festival, and not just the medal winners. Some of the beers that didn't either enter, or the beers that maybe didn't get a medal even though they entered. There's some fantastic beers. One beer that I've been told a lot about, and I didn't get to try it, so I can't firsthand give you an example of it. But The Rye River Double IPA, everybody who's had it has told me that it's been fantastic. What I can attest to from Rye River is the brown ale is just, it has this chocolate syrup aroma of it. It's absolutely delicious. If you were to pour this over ice cream, you wouldn't go wrong with it. They also have, from Rye River, they have a Berliner Weiss at 1.3% sour beer. Now, traditionally from a Berliner Weiss, you would add some kind of syrup to sweeten it up a little bit. Don't bother, it's better to just drink it as is. On a similar vein, the Beavertown had a Londoner Weiss, which is 2.8%. It was a little bit higher than the Rye River version. Same kind of style. They were sending people over to the Blackwater distillery. So you take your Londoner Weiss, which is a Berliner Weiss type style beer, and you bring that over to the Blackwater distillery and add some gin to it. And what that does is, when you add that, like a Berliner Weiss is very sour, it's low alcohol, very sour. When you add that little bit of gin to it, what it does, it reduces the sourness a little bit to a little bit more manageable level for most people, and then adds the botanicals you get from your average gin, something that's kind of, funky, nice botanical things. It creates this very, very different beer. It doesn't taste like a beer that you throw gin into. It just tastes like a completely different kind of beer.
So rather aptly, at a beer festival, a beer named after the patron saint of beer, St. Mungo. There's a lager here, so we expect release. Very crisp, very clear, much bitterness, very nice meat lager.
How are you doing? Jeff here from Jack Cody's Brewing in Drogheda. Drogheda.
With a W.
Drogheda.
DWOG.
And we have a very special beer for St. Patrick's Day. It's called Hail Glorious St. Patrick.
Right, Jack Cody's Hail Glorious St. Patrick. From Drogheda.
Hail Glorious.
And Jeff, as you can tell, is extremely enthusiastic about his beer.
Yes. From Drogheda.
With a W. Okay, so let's go for the aroma first here. Loads of coffee in the aroma here. An awful lot of coffee here. Despite that, it's very easy going down. The coffee in the side of your mouth really smooth the rest of the way. Lovely deep early stout. The challenge with the coconut-based stout is you're trying to coconut fusion beer. So you give it like these giant coconut-based beer anytime. Stout, ale, lager. If it doesn't work, it's bad. I know a lot of Chinese drinkers. I've drunk them with coconut beers. Most of them are absolutely awful. Let's give the other buddy a go. No pressure, guys. In the coconut here in the room. And it works. It really does. I'm not saying because you like it, to be honest. I got twice weight, stickers got it. You might thought it was bad. I feel confident here. This is a good shout. So what an amazing festival here in the conference centre, Alltech 2015. Again, an absolutely special one. We've seen a lot of great beers, some great people, and I hope you enjoyed it here. As always, we're going to hear about more beers. Check out the comments on YouTube. Say what you want to say. Let us know what you want to know. Next Friday, the Pint of View returns. Another beer festival. And we're going to have a lot more fun on that as well.